It says that in the motion, sir.
Number 6. I-83-
That the light rail transit alignment and associated road configuration constraints in downtown Brampton and Main Street South Heritage area be addressed through the next study phases, including consultation with council, BDDC, Metrolinx, local landowners, and other stakeholders. Number 6, and it was in your package, it's unchanged, that was. This was in the package that was sent to our house Friday?
Yes.
Right.
Well, that's what it said, but I still wasn't comfortable that it says what that was simply that. But it stops there. That steals until such time as we find that.
It says that in the terms of reference as recommended. On point 2. Point 2, that the segment between Steeles Avenue and downtown Brampton shall be confirmed through completion of planning, design, and engineering, which shall include feasibility and impact assessment for that segment. That's on the same resolution, number 2.
Number 2.
Final decision on LRT shall be confirmed when completion of plan design and engineering work shall include further feasibility and impact assessment for that segment. I think all of us, at least I've addressed, and John has addressed, I think Grant has addressed, the issue that we want to make dead certain, that if I'm not around here, which is maybe everybody wishes I wasn't, that these trees on Main Street South, that neighborhood will be protected, and I want it to be clear as crystal. So if there's something we can put in there, I'll vote for it. If there's not, I'm going to vote against the whole thing.
Councillor Gibson?
Mayor, if I can try to help to bring this to conclusion, I'm satisfied now that I was able to ask the questions that we're going to have an opportunity, a lot of opportunities, I think I'm hearing, to settle what happens after Steeles Avenue once it comes up into downtown. I think that was the intent by staff. But when I started speaking at the beginning, that what concerned me was some of the things that seemed to be in the report that I thought the public could take as something different. In other words, you know, if it has an alignment here, that means that's going to be the alignment. Sometimes you don't know, if you don't get it out into the public, they perceive something to be in a different way. And I think it's a very healthy discussion that we just had, because if anything, we all got the concerns out, staff have listened, staff know, and I think staff agree with what we're all saying here, that there's going to be some time to do that. So, I mean, I'm satisfied that we're continuing on, but we're not continuing on in too fast of a way. And Mr. Cochizola brings up some very good points, and there's some things we have to look at, and I think there's other alternatives that we might have to look at once we get past that Steeles Avenue. So that's why I'm still happy, and that's why I moved it from the beginning, but I wanted to make sure that the public out there understood exactly what we were doing. So, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Well, and I don't mean to further complicate this or to delay the vote, but I'm wondering if, and I guess just given the comments that I made with respect to all alternatives and Councillor Callahan's and to some degree, of course, the delegation, number 6 speaks to that the study area be addressed through the next study phases, including consultation with Committee of Council and so on and so forth. I'm wondering if a friendly amendment might be, and for clarification, to add and exploration of alternative alignments that benefit the downtown. That at least puts some language into the recommendations that speaks to alternatives. That would make it more clear, and Councillor Hames has agreed to second that amendment. It just sort of puts out there in the recommendations the fact that we will be looking at alternative routing. Yeah, and exploration of alternative alignments that benefit the downtown. Very simple. That way it doesn't preclude any other alternate route. or even going underground. I see it as just a friendly amendment, hopefully everybody else does.
Somehow to connect to our central
No,
mobility hub.
I'm not, I wouldn't
because
suggest that for 1 minute. I think it is vitally important
As
to
long as it
benefit the
ends up at the
downtown.
mobility hub.
Yes.
And how we have alternate ways to get from Steeles, I think we've said it
Yes,
all. You
but-
want to have a word,
But then when we go out for public consultation, we are not just asking folks what their opinion is on coming into downtown, but we're also provoking some debate and some discussion on what would alternative routes look like.
as long
That
as it
still
ends
come
up
to the mobility hub
downtown.
downtown.
at the mobility hub here.
Yes,
Because we've already dispensed with it coming and having a mobility hub shift.
yes.
Out of the downtown, which would collapse the reinvestment that's just started. So, okay, do you have those words, Mr. Clerk? Okay, it's moved by Councillor Gibson, Councillor Moore with an amendment which would fall into, where are you putting it?
Well, we'll have to vote on the
You'll put it in the
amendment
right
separately.
place. All those in favor? Okay, all those opposed? Unanimous support for LRT. We can tell the province Brampton wants to be in the program, and thank you for including Brampton in the program, and don't touch Main Street South. Got it. Motion by Councillor Plushy to receive the delegation. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Do I need to sign this one? Tell me. Let's just, Council, the next item on the agenda, now that we're back to the agenda, is the head of council report with respect to the invitation to participate at Harvard University. As you'll recall, that invitation took place the Monday and the Tuesday just prior to our last council meeting, and there was not time to bring a report the very next day and add it. So we said we would add it to this agenda. I think it was quite an honor to represent Brampton and indeed Canada and be an invited guest to such a respected university and in the company of the people who were there. We were not only the only person from Canada, we were the only politician, save and except for a congressman from Colombia. There were countries around the world represented. We were a guest of Harvard University. They looked after all of the costs of us traveling, accommodating, and our participation. Why would they think of Brampton or Brampton's mayor? Well, there are a number of reasons showing on H1-2. Brampton is seen globally as the leader in technology that opens government to promote collaboration amongst our citizens and engaging people. Our customer service portal, which, as you know, this council approved, was submitted for an award and won Best Innovative Award in 2009 in Barcelona, Spain. What's special about that? No municipality in North America has ever won this innovative award. It is typically won in European countries and Asian countries, and it surprised everybody. It sort of when we won the Firefighter Combat Challenge the first time, and it had never been won outside the state. So Brampton is suddenly, all eyes are in Brampton, and then of course resubmitted, and we won Best Use of Social Media 2010 in Norway. There were no staff or politicians present to accept the award. However, Brampton is seen now around the world as leading edge, and other municipalities around the world are interested in how we're doing and the citizen satisfaction. The participation in Harvard with every, from armed forces, from knowledge-based interaction in the field, in places of conflict in the world, from dealing in third world countries and disseminating information that can help youth survive, or on best practices in health. The engagement is the same in all places, how to interact with the public to have value added, and providing information and what you do with the information once it's assembled. And there were many examples, and faculty members from Harvard who are developing papers on the go forward for the next stage of citizen engagement through these very powerful tools. Brampton is considered the leader. Our city, through council decisions, and our staff, remarkable staff, have put Brampton on the map. I was invited to speak in Atlanta last summer during the Microsoft convention as a guest of Microsoft, their guest 100%. It was at that meeting that we were noticed globally and then put on the list to be invited to participate with the Harvard faculty staff on the next style of citizen engagement and how to truly interact with citizens for full transparency and decision-making. How do you give elected officials the information in such a way that you can be certain you're making the very best decisions for your residents? In some countries, the leader of the country, and we're talking about prime ministers, presidents, and in some cases kings, will only make a decision after it has been vetted through strong surveys, often electronic, and then they have a survey done immediately after to find out if their decision, how it was envisioned by the public. It is an issue around the world, and people were looking to Brampton on how we accomplished where we are, and we are still moving forward. Brampton is really leading edge, and I was very, very proud to discuss how Brampton is doing in citizen engagement. Councillor Pelleche at FCM last year, yourself, I think Councillor Gibson and Councillor Dillon attended a session at FCM where Brampton was being profiled as leading edge in citizen engagement through the modern social media practices. So this is really an opportunity for Brampton. We've since had discussions with several members who were there. Again, it wasn't a meeting of politicians. I was the only mayor and politician and only Canadian to be invited to represent this country. The report is here if there are any questions. Otherwise, I wanted to report that we had been, how Brampton is received internationally, and to say it was really a fascinating experience to be with senior faculty and meeting in the faculty rooms of such a well-respected university as Harvard University. I just, it was very proud to be able to put forward. In fact, everyone in the room, their initials after their name described them as being PhD level participation. And I felt I was amongst some of the best and brightest minds in the world at citizen engagement and transparency, and we were proud to be associated in that group. I do have a motion to receive the report. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Pelleche. All those in favor? Thank you. That report will be posted as a head of council report on the mayor's portal on the City of Brampton website, so it can be read there. The next item on the agenda is Councillor Sprovieri, I-9-1, and you do have a motion here. It's moved and seconded. It is placing an all-way stop, and it's moved by Councillor Sprovieri and seconded by Councillor Dillon. Do we need to speak, or can we have a vote on that? All those in favor? There you go. Very good decision. Well done, councillors. The next item on the agenda, Councillor Moore, the Taxi Advisory Committee, moved by Councillor Moore that the recommendations be approved as printed and circulated. All those in favor? Thank you. That's carried. Council, there is the report of L1 we did extract from the agenda. I would like to ask Councillor Hames to speak to this special memorial ceremony that was held in July here in the city of Brampton. It was held, of course, at our own Meadowvale Cemetery, and Councillor Hames has been the lead councillor on interfacing with our Korean veterans, every day, every year representing council at their memorial, as well as finding the go forward for the Memorial Wall of Remembrance. Of course, we have been thanked now by the ambassador for the Embassy of the Republic of Korea, and I wonder, Councillor Hames, if you would read that thank you letter. I was absolutely pleased just days ago to receive a formal letter, which we will frame, from the President of South Korea, which I will read after Councillor Hames reads the ambassador's letter. The President of South Korea did visit Brampton during the G20. It was not circulated, nor could it be, due to the security of G20. Several presidents did leave the immediate area to make visits to areas close proximity to Toronto, and in our case, the President of South Korea did come with full motorcade to Brampton to thank the Canadian-Korean veterans present for their contribution to his country. Councillor Hames, if you could take that letter. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I would just like to say before I read this that the Korea veterans that showed out that day on very short notice, because it was like 2 days before that the President of Korea had said he would like to go to the Korea Veterans Wall of Remembrance to lay a wreath, and it was great to see so many of them there. Premier Dalton McGuinty was there, plus members from the federal government, and the veterans had a chance to talk to all of those, and the President of Korea was a very solemn occasion for him, but afterwards in with the Korea veterans, he made sure that he went and spoke, from what I could see, pretty well all of them. He made sure he got around to everyone, so it was a very moving experience. So I will read the letter now, Madam Mayor, and it says, Dear Mayor Fennell, I would like to take a moment today to express my sincerest thanks and gratitude to you for attending the memorial ceremony that took place at the Korea Veterans National Wall of Remembrance in Brampton, Ontario last weekend, commemorating the 60th anniversary of the Korean War. Our President, Lee Myung-bak, was very pleased to see so many senior level politicians from both federal and provincial levels of government mingling with the honored and much appreciated Canadian veterans. Many Korean War veterans are no longer with us to witness the respect they deserve, which makes your effort to be present even more poignant. I hope that the Korea and Canada will continue to develop their healthy relationship through continued positive cooperation and by participating in acts of remembrance such as this one. Please accept my best wishes for your good health, great happiness, and much success. And it's signed by Ha Chan-ho, Ambassador of the Embassy of the Republic of Korea.
Thank you. This is very special. It's on the formal letterhead of the President of the Republic of Korea, and it comes from the President himself. Dear Mrs. Fennell, I was very pleased to see you during the wreath-laying ceremony at the National Wall of Remembrance for the Korean War veterans in Brampton last month. The ceremony was all the more meaningful given the fact that this year marks the 60th anniversary of the outbreak of the Korean War. The Korean people have never forgotten the selfless sacrifice and dedication of young Canadians who fought shoulder to shoulder with us during the Korean War 6 decades ago. The vibrant economy and thriving democracy that Korea enjoys today would not have been possible without them. On behalf of the Korean people, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all Canadian veterans for their service during the Korean War. Our deep-rooted friendship forged during the war will continue to provide an enduring foundation for a strong partnership between our two countries. Wishing you the best of good health and success in all of your endeavors. Sincerely yours, Lee Myung-bak, and he is the president, and it was a great honor to meet the president during that time of the G20, and we will be framing that picture. I'm not sure if the Guardian would like to have that picture letter to reproduce, that all the Korean veterans would know it was such a thrill, Councillor Hames, for people to actually meet the president and be thanked. Personally, it was an emotional time, and we had with us a member of our staff who is on exchange, who is from South Korea, and we were able to get clearance through the embassy for him to be able to be present and meet his president. It took took a lot of phone calls to get the clearance to have Councillor Hames and our presidents of both legions. We asked for an additional 4 or 5 people because security was very tight, but we were able to achieve that. And then once there, the president was never going inside the building. That is absolutely never go in the building. But once he was there, I think he felt very safe and comfortable in Brampton, and he just signaled, and he went in and shook hands with every Korean veteran who was able to be there that day. What a thrill. So we do have a resolution to formally receive the correspondence of the ambassador and the president. It is moved by Sandra Hames and seconded by myself. All those in favor? Thank you, that is carried. Here we go. Council, we're now at the portion of the agenda known as public question period. If there's any matter on the agenda that any member of the public would like to come forward and ask a question for clarification, please step forward at this time, identify your name, and we'd be happy to answer your question. Seeing none, we now move to tenders are all in consent. Note there are 6 tenders going out today, which all move into the no contact zone. Over to staff, standard procedure. We now move to bylaws. Councillor Hutton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Pellecci that bylaws 256-2010 to 286-2010 before council at its regular meeting of August the 11th, 2010 be given the required number of readings taken by the mayor, the city clerk, and the corporate seal affixed thereto.
All those in favor of the bylaws as presented, thank you. Carried. The next motion is a motion to go in camera. There are 6 items on the agenda. Item 1, minutes of closed session. Item 2 is a personnel